Welcome to another episode on our channel. I realize that I've shown you begin and end shots of head sculpts that I've worked on to modify with mustaches and beards and so forth. I did one recently with Jude Law and one recently with Andy Garcia that really didn't look like the characters they were supposed to represent. So I've shown you begin and end shots, but I really haven't shown you the process. I've talked about the process, but I haven't shown you the process. So I thought today I would show you the process. So we'll pause and I'll get set up for that. So what I use to create mustaches and facial hair or add more, hair on the head is something called Magic Sculpt. This is the resin and it's white. And this is the hardener and it's gray. What you're supposed to do is take an even amount from both of these containers volume wise and then just mix it together until you get an even consistency. I've already done that with this thing. This is more than what I'll need for the mustache, the Van Dyke mustache, and the beard. I'm just going to take a piece of this and roll it into a ball. And then just try to get a uniform cylinder going. I already know this is too much, but I just want to see how it looks. Or have you see how it looks. See, it's way too much. So what I typically do is if it's way too much, I take half away, roll it into a ball. And I keep repeating the process in it till I think I have the right size. So there's the cylinder. Let me put it on this. Again, I know this is too big because I still have to stretch it out. It's still way too big. So I'm going to take half of this. And again, into a ball just to get it uniform. Start with a ball and then cylinder. I think I had the right size now, so I'm going to get it even a little thinner. And we're going to put it on him and see what we have. Yeah, actually, I think that's going to work because I need to thin it out more, get it skinnier, and then have it loop up on the ends. So let's get it skinnier, a little bit skinnier. But also now what I want to do is I want to take one end and kind of taper it into a point. Because with these mustaches, it does end in a point, flipped up. I'm going to do the same thing to the other end. Just try to get that into a point. And eventually I'm going to flip that up as well. So even this out. All right. Let's see how we did. Now, first, what I want to do is I want the mustache to follow the lip line, which it does. Then I want to kind of flip it up. I want to make it a touch longer, just a touch longer. I think I got it this time. Let me move it a little over so it's even. That's the hardest part, is to get this stuff even on each side. It's close enough. I can still stretch things. So I'm following the lip pretty much. Now I'm going to try to point the ends up. Keep it close to the lip, but point it up. Hope you can see that. All right. So now what I want to do is I can make it longer, or I could be happy with where it's at right now. But what I want to do is I want to take an X-Acto knife And I don't want to slice through it. I just want to create indents. So I'm going to start in the middle and just angle away from the nose, just slightly, ever so slightly, pushing down so that I can create hopefully what looks like a mustache. And then on the other side, I'm going to go in the other direction. Hope you can see that. If you can't, which I think you can, let's pause and then we'll get a close-up of him. All right. It's faint, but I think you can see the indents. But if I put my hand here, you can probably see it a lot better. If I do it to the other side, maybe even better still. But I'm using an X-Acto blade, the sharp part of the blade, just to do indents on the mustache. And now I will try to do the lower part of the beard. So we'll pause and get set up for that. So from this piece, I took a tiny piece and rolled it into a ball. I'm just going to press down on it. And then what I want to do is I want to kind of just cut a triangle to start with out of it. Take that part away. Triangle here. I'm going to try to make the one side that's the fattest part of the triangle as flat as I possibly can. Another way you can do it is just take the triangle and just dab, 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 dab. That should make it straight. And then you can do it for the sides. Dab it. And here, dab, 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 dab. They go back to the top part of the beard. Do a little bit more. And I'm going to put it on the guy and see how it looks. Can you see it? Now, I don't know if that's too thick yet. It may be, but it may work. But I'm now going to take my X-Acto blade and again, in the middle, start with a straight line, but then try to angle. Actually, with the beard, I'm kind of going straight, not angling anymore. All right, we'll pause now and try to get a close-up so you can see him better. We put him in the middle there. So we'll pause now, now that I have him balanced, and get a close-up of him. So here he is, and you might not be able to see the indents until I put a little shadow on each side, but they're there. The last thing to do, of course, is to let it dry and to paint it. So I'm hoping we have enough time to do it all in one episode. But I think he looks quite sharp as a musketeer. So here is what we started with, and here is the same head sculpt with a Van Dyke mustache and beard. I think he looks rather dashing. Use whatever substance you want to use in terms of sculpting the mustache and the beard. But for me, Magic Sculpt seems to work just fine. It actually dried a lot quicker, and I was hoping it would since I was using such a small amount. So I was able to paint it and get it to you today. This guy, I think, is going to replace Jude Law as my musketeer, and maybe we'll show you him as the third musketeer. So we'll be right back. We are back, and you probably do remember my three musketeers. I had received a head, a Bruce Wayne head of Robert Pattinson from Damn Toys. And the head was pretty good, but it didn't really look like Robert Pattinson. So I decided to make it something I could live with, the head sculpt. So I put a Van Dyke mustache on it and a beard. It looked great. He was going to become my third musketeer. I got the third musketeer all dressed because I had found it on the internet after years in searching for a third musketeer. I finally found it, got him all dressed up, got Robert Pattinson's head on it with the Van Dyke mustache and beard, and I tried to put the head on it. And of course, the hair was too wide. The hat would not fit. So I did the next best thing. I took a Jude Law head that is kind of Jude Law, but not the best representation of Jude Law. And I put a Van Dyke mustache on him. I put hair on his receding hairline, and I made him into the third musketeer. I'm not in love with the eyes, but if you put the hat down low, you don't really see the eyes. On eBay the other day, a couple days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, I saw a bunch of heads being sold, like 25 heads, 25 to 30 heads being sold for $12.49. And you don't see that anymore. I got them. And these were 2 of the heads that were included. They had really good heads in there. And I don't know why they wanted to sell them, but these were 2 of the heads. And I said, I've used him before. I like this head. Let me put a Van Dyke mustache and beard on him and make him into my third musketeer, and hopefully just maybe sell Jude Law with a mustache and beard. I don't know. But we'll pause, get a close-up of Jude Law as a musketeer, then replace his head with this guy's head and get a close-up of that one. So we'll be right back. So here is the unbranded Jude Law, and he was okay, but I wasn't in love with him. He looks so much better as a musketeer, but I still don't like his eyes. I am going to put the other head on, and hopefully it'll be a dramatic difference. So here is Jude Law. I just don't like the eyes. They're a little too red for me. He looks so much better. Here he is without his hat on. Night and day from my perspective. So this is the guy who's the third musketeer. We'll be right back. So here was our previous musketeer, Jude Law, where I put a Van Dyke mustache and beard on him. I got 2 heads, actually 25 to 30 heads the other day for just the greatest deal. And 2 of the heads were like this. And I just thought to myself, he's going to look better as a musketeer than Jude Law. And there he is, and he does. Here's one last look at our trio, our figure of the day, as well as his 2 compadres. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have, consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. In the meantime, everyone, please have a great day.